Gretchen, I just want to play something the Vice President said tonight.
America, for too long, we have been consumed with too much division, chaos, and mutual distrust. And it can be easy then to forget a simple truth. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. It is time to stop pointing fingers. We have to stop pointing fingers and start locking arms. It is time to turn the page on the drama and the conflict, the fear and division. It is time for a new generation of leadership in America. And I am ready to offer that leadership as the next President of the United States of America.
Gretchen, how do you think it played?
Look, this was the antithesis of division. This was about contrast from division, common ground, common sense solutions, compromise. A lot of C words there, but they all add up to the fact that she's extending an olive branch to those undecided voters out there saying, I am the person that will make you feel comfortable, another C word. And I think that this was incredibly important because a lot of people think that Kamala Harris herself is a divider. They have had an impression that she's too far to the left. This entire speech was about bringing people together. And I think one of the most powerful lines was, even if you disagree with me, and she said this twice, even if you disagree with me, I'm not going to jail you. I'm not going to send you off into oblivion, as she's alleging Trump might do to his enemies. I'm going to embrace you, and I'm going to have conversations with people that I disagree with. I think that that was one of the most important things she has said in the last 90 days for those people out there who are hesitant to pull the trigger for her.
She said about that she would give them a seat at the table,
Yes.
I think was her phrase. Brad, as a Republican, what do you make of it?
I hate to be the skunk at the garden party here, but I think, you know, I plan political events for a living, and I think this was political malpractice to put her in front of this White House. 68% of Americans think that the country's on the wrong track, and they blame Joe Biden, and increasingly they're blaming Kamala Harris. By standing in front of that White House tonight, she's going to own all 68% of that disapproval. And, you know, I think it's a comfort reason. I think Northwest Washington, D.C. is about her best precinct in America. Everybody likes her there. She should have been in the Union Lodge in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh tonight. That would have done her a lot more good. And I also don't think that she did a lot for the Nikki Haley voters. They've talked a lot this week about that they were going after Haley voters. And I think the Haley voters had to be looking at this as like a Christmas present they opened up and it was socks. You know, they got nothing new from her, nothing that wasn't in her convention speech, frankly. And I don't think this moves the ball for her here at the end.
Talking about Nikki Haley, I just want to play something that Nikki Haley said on Fox earlier tonight about the last time she spoke to Trump, because there was a lot of talk about, you know, she made it clear she wanted to campaign for him, was willing to. Here's what she said.
Last time I talked to them was back in June. I mean, they're very aware that we're on standby. They know that we would be there to help. I've helped with some fundraising letters and text messages and those types of things. So we've done that. But look, we're on the same team. It is their campaign's decision on what he needs in these last final days. It does not bother me at all. They also need to look at how they're talking about women. I mean, this bromance and this masculinity stuff, I mean, it borders on edgy to the point that it's going to make women uncomfortable. You know, you've got affiliated PACs that are doing commercials about calling Kamala the C word, or you had speakers at Madison Square Gardens, you know, referring to her and her pimps. That is not the way to win women.
By the way, we should point out none of the C words that Gretchen was talking about.
Please, thank you for that clarification, Andrew.
An Elon Musk PAC is put out a commercial using very derogatory.
Which they pulled back.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
But with Nikki Haley, I mean, this will go down if Trump loses this election. That will go down as one of his greatest mistakes, is not getting Nikki Haley out on the campaign trail. She's actually the one who's putting herself out there saying she would do it, which I know surprised a lot of people.
Yeah,
and he won't do it.
Well, the first mistake was he probably should have made her vice presidential nominee. I think that would have helped him a lot, but that would have been a different Donald Trump, right? Listen, to Brad's point about the White House, at the end of the day, she is a woman of color. and she needs people to envision her in the White House. They need to see her as president of the United States. And I think, I get it, what you're saying, a Union Hall and someplace like that. But for her, she's got a different test that she's got to first get over as a hurdle, which is mentally. And then, right now, people are starting to pay attention again. And I think this campaign has the rationale that all the things that we think people know about Trump from the last few years, they really have either forgotten, or as Dana was saying, they're just now clicking back into. So they want to make sure everybody's focused on that part of the
I think people see her in the White House. They see her in this White House, and they see that she says she would do nothing different from Joe Biden. She told Anderson in your town hall, she said she couldn't think of mistakes she'd made in this last 4 years. I think the problem she has and the reason that she's in trouble right now is because she can't get past this administration's failure.
I think that you say malpractice, and hearing Nikki Haley say that is malpractice. And there's only one reason that Donald Trump has not used Nikki Haley the way that she said she's willing to be used politically, and that is because he can't get past his grievances with her because she was his opponent and she was winning a sizable amount of the vote even when she was not in the race. And those are the exact voters that the Harris campaign believes are gettable with the C words like common ground and common sense. We don't know, but they believe that they have about 3 to 5% of undecided or gettable voters, and that this is the kind of message that those Haley voters, many of them are probably Haley voters, will actually be open to. Whether or not she'll get them, we don't know, but at least.
I think it's a gamble, though. She's asking them to come on vibes, and she's asking them to come on style. She's making them do most of the work on policy. Their hesitation with Kamala Harris, they have hesitations about Donald Trump, right? If you're a Haley voter, you've got a hesitation about him. But their hesitations with Kamala Harris are on ideology.
But objectively, you didn't, listen, I don't want to, this is your job to debate him, but she gave a lot of policy there.
She did, but nothing on ideology. She's not, home health care is not an ideological
No, her
issue.
ideology is America, right? Her ideology was I am like a story of like how you proceed in America, how you can achieve in America, and I think that's something that she was really trying to.
It's also, talking about
herself.
ideology. She is talking about giving Republicans. Listening to Republicans. She's trying to make it a table where Republicans are welcome. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But that is certainly what she is saying. She's giving as Lynn Cheney was trying to give a permission structure. Liz Cheney was trying to give a permission structure for Republicans to vote for her. She is certainly trying to keep that door open.
Well, just look at Pennsylvania. If you want to drill down there, 42,000 people still voted for Nikki Haley, even when she was a month out of the election. And Trump only won by 44,000 votes in Pennsylvania. That alone could turn it. So even if some of those disaffected Republicans...
Let's just play something she said, trying to kind of draw a contrast between how she views her political opponents, how Trump views them.
And to people who disagree with me, unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I'll give them a seat at the table.
That was an olive branch. In my mind, that was an olive. Whether or not it works, who knows? But that was an olive branch to those disaffected Trump voters who maybe will vote not on policy, but on saving America.
In terms of ground games, there's been a lot of talk that the Trump campaign has outsourced a lot of it to other groups. Do we know, is there a sense of who has the more effective ground games? Does it depend state by state?
Well, now we don't have to imagine it. We can look at early voting stats. And the Republicans are outperforming Republican performance in each of the last 3 election cycles in all 7 target states. In Nevada, for instance, you can see a 20-point swing right now toward Republicans among Hispanic voters. And you can see who's showing up at the polls. CNN's poll today said that Donald Trump has won the people who voted early by 5 points in a state that the Republicans haven't carried since forever. So I think that the ground game proofs in the pudding and who shows up, and I think Republicans are doing okay.
But just to clarify real quick, that is true, but it's also because Republicans might be culturally voting differently earlier rather than on Election Day, which is what they historically do.
It's a part of it.
Jamal Simmons, thank you. Gretchen Carlson as well, thanks so much.